Let's preview the assignment for round 5C for those of you so unfortunate as to need to do that assignment. Question 1, if Ferris chose to retire or purchase all of its long-term debt, would it, let's ignore the fact that Ferris doesn't have the cash to do that, but if they did chose to retire or purchase all of its long-term debt, would it buy it at a discount or premium? And again, I talked about this in the review of the round itself, so you may have to go back and look at that, but you know, that information on the bond market summary is given to you. So Ferris has one bit of long-term debt. I can tell you this much: the series is 14 S of 2023. That's the maturity year, is 2023. 14 would have been the initial rate. Okay, none of that is going to help you a lot, but the information is right here that will tell you exactly what you need to know. And again, if you go back and listen to the review of the round, it will explain that. How much would the discount or premium be as a percent? And that's provided for you again, you know, right there in this line. Okay. And then thirdly, how much would the discount or premium be in dollars? Well, once you know the percent, okay, if it retired all its debt, this $20,850,000, so you know the percent of the premium or the discount, should be pretty easy to calculate then what that is in dollars. Okay. What's all that mean? Well, in bonds, and you know, bonds are issued at a particular rate, okay, but rates in the marketplace go up or down, okay, on a daily basis. They do. And so if a bond was issued, for example, at 3% and current rates are at 5%, you know, that 3% bond, if you were an investor, why would you buy a 3% bond if you could go buy or invest in a 5% bond? Well, you wouldn't, okay, unless you could get that 3% bond at a discount. So instead of spending $100 for it, maybe you'd spend $95 for it. And then your yield would become equal to that 5% that's available currently in the market. And so that's what happens with bonds and bond rates and whatnot, and that's basically what this question is about. Question 2 says, if Ferris were to have invested gosh, I'm picking on Ferris here a little bit, sorry. I'll get to Andrews here in a bit. It must be a A to F thing, I don't know. But if Ferris were to have invested $10 million in share buyback, how many shares could it have purchased at the end of round 5 price? Okay, so again, this one should be pretty simple. You've got the stock market summary, $10 million Ferris, and its price is given to you. The math there is about as simple as I could make it. I'm not going to spend too much time there. 3, if Andrews would have used all its cash to pay down debt, what would its leverage ratio have been? So back to just a little twist on it. Okay, so how much cash does Andrews have? Yeah, we got to come down to its balance sheet. So they got a little over $10 million. Okay, so if they paid down its debt, okay, well, you remember if they paid down the debt, the total fixed assets, or total current assets, and the total assets would decrease by that. But they're paying down debt, and so the liabilities would decrease as well. Okay, and what's our leverage? Is assets divided by equity, right? Yeah, I thought that was up here, but our leverage ratio is assets divided by equity. Let's go back and you can look. We've calculated that, you know, in different fashions. So, you know, what's their leverage ratio changed to because we've paid down debt? Should go down a little bit, right? 4, Andrew's current book value is $40.86 per share. If the company had issued or sold 100,000 shares of stock at last year's stock price, end of year 5, okay, what would be the new book value? Assume everything else remains constant. So, okay, book value $40.86. That part doesn't enter into your calculations, okay? It'll enter into the comparison at the end, but it doesn't enter into the calculations. So again, we come back up to the stock market report. Andrews, if they did 100,000 shares, now here's the closing price, okay? So they're selling those shares, 100,000 shares, basically $54.59. That's going to increase their equity, right? Okay, and you increase the equity. Now you also have changed the shares outstanding. You've increased the shares outstanding. You've increased the equity. The book value is really a simple matter of, let me show you. I guess I'll show you what the book value is now, and that should help you make this calculation. Right now you've got 2 million shares. It says the book value is $40.86 per share. So that means its equity is going to be 80. Right, it's 2 million times the $40, so 81 million and some odd. Okay, if I come down to the balance sheet, it should tell me 81 and some odd. Okay, if I did the official math up there, I could have got probably a little bit closer. Doing it in my head, I came up with that 81. Okay, that's going to change, right, if they sell that 100,000 shares of stock. So again, the math there is pretty simple. Just kind of walk through it a little bit, but just getting you guys thinking about what goes on in balance sheets, what goes on in the reconciliation of equity accounts and those types of things. So good luck. Holler if you have any questions.